Rick Weaver, Fred Woodson, Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Just a fine day weather-wise, cool for Miami, 75 degrees at kickoff. Now the wind is blowing into the open end of the stadium on top of the bleachers with gusts up to 25 miles an hour. And the early pregame indication was that the wind is more of a factor up here and will be more of a factor for the kickers, that is the punters, than it will be for the passers. Setting the Colts offensively for you, Lydell Mitchell, number 26, and Don McCauley, 23 of the running backs. Domris, 14, the quarterback. Spire, 28, and Doty, 35, the wide receivers. Ray Chester, number 87, the tight end. Drugas, 74, Nelson, 68 of the tackles. Wrestler, 62, Collette, 66, the guards. Mendenhall, 57, is the center. Setting the Dolphin defense for you, Denherter, Fernandez, Hines, and Stanfield. Front four, left to right linebackers, Swift, Bonaconte, and Colin. The cornerbacks are Foley and Johnson. The safeties, Scott and Anderson. Third down and 10. The first third down conversion for Domris. He drops straight back, has excellent protection, fires the middle. It is knocked away. The pass was intended for McCauley out of the backfield. Nick Bonaconte making his drop, slapped the ball away. And so the Colts, as the Dolphins failed to do in their first offensive sequence, will have to punt. They could not pick up a first down. David Lee with a 40-yard kick average, a veteran punter in this league, will handle the punting chores, and Jake Scott, who on the season has an 18.2 punt return average, which is one of the highest in the National Football League, is the deep man, and Dick Anderson the shallow man. The line of scrimmage, the Colts 31. Here is the snap. It's a good snap. He gets it out of there, and boom's a beauty. A long, high spiral. Way back as Scott grabs it to the Dolphins 10, up the near side, 15. And he shakes a tackler up to 20, gets a block to 25. He'll shakes another one at the 30-yard line and is knocked down at the 34. A great return by Jake Scott. The tackle by Brian Herosian, number 29, a rookie on the Colts special teams. Dolphins will have Kick and Zonk at the running backs, Briscoe and Warfield wide receivers, and now Mar Fleming. Although Mandich was announced as the starting tight end, Mar Fleming is in there at the tight end spot. Moore and Evans, the tackles, Kuchenberg and Little, the guards. Langer is the center. The Dolphins will start from their 33-yard line. Here's the handoff going to Moore, starts inside, shakes off a tackle and bounces to his left, gets out to the 35. A gain of some 2 yards for Merck. Tackle on the play made by Joe Ehrman, the right tackle, and Stan White, the linebacker. They mark it at the 36, so give them a gain of 3. It'll bring up a second down and 7.
The way the Colts are stacking up that middle, the Dolphins are going to have to pass or send Mercury outside on the sweep.
Second down, 7. Miami's football moving from our left to our right. Dolphins ball at their 36-yard line. No score in the football game. Bright sunny afternoon, windy. Gracie drops to throw, looking up the middle, and here's caught. Great catch by Briscoe at the 50-yard line, and a flag goes down after he hits the ground. He was tackled by Rex Kern. That was a hook pattern out at the near side inbounds hash mark, and Briscoe was just coming up and hooking out to the near side. We're going to get pass interference. Call against the Colts. The Dolphins, I believe, will take the gain. Rex Kern is the man who made the tackle on the play. Penalty was declined, and the ball is placed down at the Colts' 49-yard line. A pickup of some 15 yards on the pass completion. First down, Miami at the Colts' 49-yard line. Morris and Zonk are the I-backs. Hand off to Larry on the trap, hits in on across the left side, gets a yard to the 48-yard line. Jim Bailey, 4-year man from Kansas, number 79. Defensive tackle stacked him up at the Colts' 48. Gain of a yard, that'll bring up a second down and 9. No score in the ball game. 10 minutes, 35 seconds to go in this first quarter. Here's the handoff. Morris starts inside, cuts outside, turns the corner, 45, 40, back to the near side, 35, 30, he might go, 20, 15 to the 10, down to the 5, he scores! Mercury Morris started inside over the left side, and then it was jammed up. He cut outside, turned the corner, cut back to his right, was hit a couple of times, broke into the open at the 40, and ran for the near side. Nelson Muncie, the Colts right quarterback, number 31, was the only man who had a chance at him, and Merck fought him off with the old stiff arm from the 10-yard on in, and Morris gets his 9th touchdown, a 48-yard run. Yepremian kicks it up there. It is good. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score of Miami 7, Baltimore nothing. Delay of game call coming up against Baltimore, and this will set the football back to the Colts 28. And we'll bring up, instead of a 3rd and 2, a 3rd down and 7. So Mitchell comes out, and Cotton Spire, number 28, goes back into the wide receiver, as the strategy has changed because of the 5-yard delay of game call. Here is Domrus dropping back to throw. He sets up. He is firing deep up the middle. It is going to be almost intercepted by Dick Anderson back at the Dolphins 35. There was nobody near that football. Ray Chester, the intended receiver, the tight end, had fallen down back upfield, and Anderson was the only man who had a shot at it. It was a wobbly pass, so it falls as a long incompletion and brings up a 4th down and punting situation. And David Lee, who got off a 59-yarder the first time, again, will try to get it high and get an assist from the wind. Jake Scott is back deep, and the shallow man is Dick Anderson, the line of scrimmage, the 28-yard line in Colts territory. And standing back at the 12 is David Lee. Here's the snap, the low snap, gets a good rush, it's blocked! Ball deflected in the air, it's coming down, loose on the ground. Tim Foley's got it, he runs it in for a touchdown! Foley blocked it and runs it in for a touchdown. Jim Foley, I believe, got the block. He certainly is the man who picked it up and ran it in for the TD. Charlie Babb was also through there, and Foley gets credit for a touchdown. And I know Tim was excited about that. He's never won a trophy in his life, and if he keeps going like this, he's liable to win our Special Teams Award this week, Henry. Foley blocked it, picked it up at about the 5, and ran it in. And it's now a 14-0 ball game. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score, Miami 14, the Colts nothing. The Dolphins jumping out to a 14-0 lead, and the Colts have not been out of their own end of the field. Dolphins defense, the best against the score in the AFC, the second best in the league, trailing only the Minnesota Vikings in that department. Dolphins averaging giving up only 11.7 points per ball game. A 3rd and 2 coming up. Colts football at their 26-yard line. Miami leads 14-0, 7:15 to go in the first quarter. On the snap, here's the handoff. Mitchell over the right side. He didn't make it. He didn't make it. Manny Fernandez jammed up that hole along with Nick Bonacati. And he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. So that'll bring up the punting unit again. The Colts, thus far in the ball game, has not achieved a first down. Line of scrimmage, the Colts 26. Lee stands back at about the 11-yard line. And he will have the wind advantage if he gets the ball up high enough. Here's the big rush again. He gets the kick out of there, drills a low trajectory spiral. Scott to the near side, grabs it back to 24, 25, near side 30, 35, to the 40, the 45. He is horse-collared across the 45 at the 47-yard line. Another great return by Jake Scott, and Henry Stuckey threw a dandy block out in front of him to spring him loose up the near side of the field. So Jake Scott doing an excellent job of returning punts, not only today, but last week. He had a good ball game against the New York Jets, a 45-yard punt. He grabbed that ball back at about the 24, runs it out to the 47, so a 23-yard return. That's 2 23-yard returns on punts for Scott today. Dolphins excellent field position in their 47. Zonka starts outside to his left, big hole, 45, 40, dragging tacklers with him down to the 40-yard line. Booms Larry Zonka. Inside the 40 to the 35 is where they're going to call it. The tackle by Rex Kern, a tremendous hole over the left side, and Crusan, along with Bob Kuchenberg, should get commendation for the blocking over there. The ball is marked at the 36, is where they put it down. So Morris is out, kick is in. Kick and Zonka are the running backs. Thus far in the ball game, Zonk 3 carries, 20 yards. He picked up 17 yards that time. First down Miami at the Colts 36-yard line. Reese up under center, awaits the snap of the football. Here's the handoff. Kick starts inside, cuts back to his left, puts his head down and rams his way down to the 31-yard line. A tackle by defensive end Joe Schmeezing. A second down and 5 coming up for Miami. The ball just outside the Colts 31-yard line. Briscoe splits to the near side. Warfield to the far side. Reese has Kick and Zonka as the split backs in behind him. 5 minutes, 5 seconds to go. First quarter, Miami leads 14-0. Reese drops back to throw, firing out to the left. It is caught by Kick out of the backfield. 25 down to the 22, and he's going to be contained by blue jerseys right there. Right corner, Nelson Muncie, and linebacker Mike Kazmarek are the fellows who wrapped him up, but not before he picks up the first down. Reese to Jim Kick down at the Colts 22-yard line. Dolphins with a 14-0 lead, trying to get another one before the first period ends. Clock moving with 4:25 to go. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, and behind Greasy. Here's the handoff to Merck. Sweep to the near side. Cuts back to his left. 15, down to the 10. He has dropped at the 10-yard line. And a look from here as if he might bust another one. But Rick Volk put his head down and flattened him out. And shaken up, coming off, down on the near side of the field is Larry Little, the Dolphins' all-pro offensive right guard. And we'll depend upon Fred Woodson to check on that one. Irv Goody, the 12-year man, number 55 from Kentucky, comes in to replace him. Woody?
Rick, he's holding his shoulder, and I'll let you know more.
The ball is just outside the Colts' 10-yard line. We'll call it first and goal from the 10. Greasy back to throw, looking left. He is firing down in the corner, out of the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Warfield. Warfield had cut inside and then cut back towards the middle. He was double covered by Muncie and Rick Volk. Second down and goal from the Colts' 10-yard line. Warfield slowly coming back to the huddle. 3 minutes, 27 seconds left to play in the first quarter of this contest. The Dolphins out in front 14-0. Dolphins from the Colts' 10-yard line down here at the east end. Hand off to Zonk. Starts outside of the right, cuts back to his left, and rams his way down to about the 5-yard line. Woody?
Rick, it was his right shoulder. Evidently, he hit a nerve because I overheard him say that it was numb, and now the feeling is coming back. And evidently, he can move it fairly well, and I think we're probably going to see some more of him later on in the ball game.
Well, I certainly hope so, and thank you very much. An excellent report. Ball is down at the 6 is where they mark it. Third down and goal from the 6-yard line. Greasy waits for the snap, drops straight back to throw. Looking, firing in the middle. It is knocked away about a yard deep in the end zone. The coverage converged. It was intended for Mandich, I believe. The Dolphins will try a field goal. This will be about a 13-yard attempt. Yepremian is 15 for 21. In the field goal department, Morrow will hold. And Garrow coming into today's game, tied with Roy Girella for the AFC East kicking scoring lead with 67 points. Waits for the snap. Here it is, set down. The kick is partially blocked, but it bounces up through the uprights. Took a funny bounce up there, and it's good. So it's a 17-0 ball game with 2 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in this first quarter. And let's pause here for station identification on the Miami Dolphins Football Network. WIOD Miami. The ball is at the 48-yard line, and this is about as far as the Colts have moved it all afternoon. Third down and 2 for Baltimore, a long 2. The ball, actually, the Colts 47.5. Domrus ready to go to work. Drops back to throw. Pumps to his left. Now has time. Fires in the middle. It is picked off by Curtis Johnson. 33, 35, 40 for the near side. 45. He is up to almost the 50 and has wrestled to the ground at the 48-yard line in Dolphins territory. The pass was intended for Sam Haverlack, and Don McCauley made the tackle. The ball was deflected off Haverlack's fingertips, and it came down into the hands of Dolphins right corner Curtis Johnson. That for Johnson is his first pass interception of the season, and the Dolphins now have a total of 10 on the year. So, another mistake, another turnover, and I'm sure Howard Schnellenberger is turning grayer by the minute. But this is a young ball club. They are making mistakes, and that is what is beating them. The Dolphins have excellent field position with just 19 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The ball at the Miami 48-yard line. Greasy has Zonka slot left. The other running back is Mercury Morris from the Miami 48. Hand off to Merck inside. He is contained at the 50-yard line. After a pickup of about 2 yards, Joe Ehrman, the fine rookie right tackle from Syracuse, makes the stop on the play. That's the end of the first period. Dolphin action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score Miami 17, Baltimore nothing. The Dolphins, as we begin play in this second period, have excellent field position at the 50-yard line with a second down and 8. Ready to go to work is Bob Greasy as we begin play in the second quarter. Second down and 8, Dolphins from the 50. Hand off to Morris, outside to his right, cuts back to his left, and he's dropped at the 46-yard line. Rich Amon, now playing a defensive left end, makes the tackle on the play. Kick and Mandich will come into the Dolphins offensive alignment. Third down and a long 5 for the Dolphins. Greasy drops to throw. Sets up, now he steps up in the pocket, fires, it is caught and dropped. Mandich, the intended receiver, down at the 30-yard line. The ball was thrown right there, and Jim is slamming his hand with his fist in disgust because he didn't hold on to it.
Rick, we said before the game, because of the wind out here today, that Garrow could probably kick one 60 yards. He won't have to go that far, but this will be a long kick for him.
Well, it's going to be an approximate 54-yard attempt. They're going to set it down at the Miami 46. The longest he's ever kicked in his career against Buffalo last year was 54. The longest this year, 53 against San Francisco in the opening game. He has the wind behind him. Snap, set down, the kick is up. He has the distance. It is No good. It's down in the end zone. It was a little bit off to his left. Rex Kern was the man who was back. So he had the distance on it, apparently from up here, but he did not have the right direction. So that's a touchback, and there's a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score Miami 17, Baltimore nothing. 9 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the second period. Dolphins doing all their scoring in the first quarter, lead 17-0. And they put the ball down at the 26-yard line. And they'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. Bob Matheson comes in on the Dolphins prevent defense, and Heinz will come out. Back to throw on 3rd down is Darmus. He has to run out of the pocket, firing a deep, wobbly pass upfield. It is knocked away by the man for whom it was intended, Curtis Johnson. And that was a good effort by Cotton Spire to save an interception. Johnson was deeper than he was and had a line on the ball for the Dolphins, and Spire, the intended receiver, knocked it out of his hands. And so the Colts fail again. They have achieved only 1 first down in the first half. Line of scrimmage, the Colts 26. He'll stand back at the 11. Jake Scott is back deep, waiting for the snap. He gets good protection this time. Gets it high, not too deep. The wind catches it, bounces up the Dolphins 48. And it's going to roll sideways and be down at the Dolphins 47-yard line. So not much of a punt that time, and the wind was a factor. Covering on the play was Hubert Ginn. He's the man who downed the football. A 27-yard kick by David Lee. And so the Dolphins come out of it with excellent field position again at their 47-yard line. And let's see if Greasy can get a drive started. Briscoe splits far side, and the near side is Warfield. Morris is the deep man in the eye. The other back is Zonka. Here's the handoff to Merck, through a hole on the right side. He finds an opening. 45, 40, 35 to the 30, 25. He's going to go. The 10, the 5, another touchdown. Mercury Morris, 53 yards. He had a big hole on the right side, and he just bounced off tacklers into the secondary, found the opening at about the Colts 40-yard line, and nobody was going to catch him down the far sideline. So he is over 100 yards plus. His first run of 48, this one of 53 yards. Morris now has 123 yards and 7 carries. And this for Merck gives him his 7th career 100-yard rushing game, and this will be his 3rd of the season. And Garrow converts, making it a 24-0 ball game with 8 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the first half. As your Premium will kick off. Here's Garrow's kickoff. It's high and hits the upright. So that's an automatic dead ball and a touchback. And we were brought out. The Colts will start from their 20-yard line. Their deepest penetration of the day has been to their 48-yard line. They have only 1 first down. 2 out of 7 in the passing department is Marty Darmus for just 8 yards. Here's the tight end around. Chester carrying to the left side, and he just gets the corner turn, and he's tripped up and out of bounds on the far side at the 21. A gain of a yard. Bill Stanfield and Mike Colon got him. Colts with no offense to speak of at all. Of course, this is attributable to a fine Dolphin defense. Here's Darmus under pressure, lofts the ball out on a flat pass, complete to McCauley. He gets a yard out to the 22-yard line, and that's all. He caught it back at the 15. There was no screen, and Foley, the left quarterback, is the man who dumped him. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Back to throw goes Darmus. Here comes Denherter after him. He throws, the ball is dropped by McCauley up the 28-yard line. A bad pass, and he hurried it because Denherter was bearing down. Mike Colon is the man who covered on the play. McCauley couldn't hold on to it. So here comes Mr. Lee in again to punt. And the Dolphin defense gets a well-deserved round of applause as they come off. The Colts have not been in Dolphin territory all afternoon. 7:35 left to go in this first half. Dolphins have Anderson back as the shallow man now, and Scott the deep man. Line of scrimmage, the 22-yard line in Baltimore territory. Lee standing back at about the 7. Here's the snap, almost blocked. He gets a low trajectory end over end. Scott grabs it, 48, 50, and knocked down at the Colts 48-yard line. A 4-yard return by Jake as he grabbed that punt back at the Dolphins 48-yard line. And on that kick, 32 yards by David Lee. They're going to mark it at the 48 in Baltimore territory. The Dolphins have had excellent field position for most of this first half, as they have again. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, in behind. Bob Greasy, Dolphins from the Colts, 48. Bob drops back to throw. Has plenty of time. Lofts it out to Zonka. He's got it at the 48. Puts his head down to the 45. Ramming over tacklers and is knocked down at the 40-yard line after an 8-yard pickup. Larry Zonka, the flat pass receiver, out to the near side. Greasy dumped it over the rush. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 2. 2nd and 2. Hand off to Zonk. Booms his way. Big hole left side. He's got the first down to about the 35-yard line. Kazmarek again from the right side linebacker. Rick Volk, the free safety, make the tackle. The Dolphins pick up a first down. 6 minutes, 13 seconds left to play in the first half. Miami leading 24-0. The ball at the Colts 35-yard line. Here is Morris. Big hole in the middle. 30 down to the 25. And he gets to about the 24-yard line before he's knocked off his feet. Good blocking up front by Langer. Larry Little back in there. Kuchenberg. First down at the 24. Greasy couple of steps back. Fires an in-patter. Caught by Briscoe at the 10. He's knocked out at the 7. A great catch by Marlon Briscoe. He is showing a tremendous proclivity to hold onto the ball when he knows he's going to get cracked. And he was hit hard that time by Ray Oldham, the strong safety, but not before Greasy hits him with a pass completion that gives the Dolphins a 1st and goal at the Colts 7-yard line. That pass completion good for 16. They've got the power blocking up front. Here's the handoff. Morris to the near side. Sweep. Cuts back to his right. Is going to be contained and thrown for a loss. Back at about the 9-yard line. Merck could not get the corner turn. Mike Kazmarek, the right side linebacker, diagnosed the play perfectly, fought off the blockers, and Morris is knocked down for a 2-yard loss. Waiting for the snap. 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Greasy. Hands off. Drop play. Zonka busts the middle, carrying people with him. Gets to the 6-yard line and is contained back behind that point, but his forward progress carried him out to the 6. So he gets 3, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and goal from the 6-yard line. Briscoe splits far side. Warfield to the near side. Morris and kick. The split backs, and behind Greasy. Waiting for the snap is Greasy. Drops a couple of steps back. Has all day. Fires. It hits the crossbar. Bounces in the air. But that is a dead football. It is grabbed by Stan White coming down. But that is a dead ball when it hits the upright. So that'll bring up a 4th down. And Yepremian will come in to try the field goal. This will be a 14-yard attempt. Morrill will hold down at the west end of the field. Waiting for the snap. Here it is, set down. He gets the kick up, and it's perfect. It is perfect, and it's now a 27-0 ball game as Garrow gets his 2nd field goal, 2 out of 3 on the afternoon. And the Dolphins now lead 27-0 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the first half of play. 2 minutes to go in this first half. The Colts have the football with a 2nd down and 6 from their 39. Marty Darmus, who has gone all the way at quarterback, splits off Cotton Spire to the far side. When Doty to the near side. Mitchell and McCauley are the split backs in behind him. On the snap, Darmus drops back to throw. He's going to have to eat it. Matheson blitzing, really flattened him out. Bob Matheson on the blitz from the far side in that 53 defense, and he was coming that time and knocks Darmus down back at the 27 or the 26-yard line. We'll bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it some 19 yards, a long 18 to go. And this is an obvious passing situation. Thus far in the 3rd down conversions, Darmus has none for 7. Here's the end around with carrying the football is Glenn Doughty. He's at the 30, cuts back to laterally the far side, 35 up to the 40-yard line and is knocked down. He got some pretty good yardage out of it, but he's still about 5 yards shy of what they needed for a first down, and so Lee comes on. 42 seconds left to play in the first half. Waiting for the snap is Fred Hoagland is the long snapper for the Colts. Here's Lee. Doesn't get much of a rush this time. Gets off a nice kick. Long, high spiral. Scott grabs it back at the 12. Up the far side. 15 to the 20. 25. 30. And he is wrestled out of bounds up at about the 35-yard line. Another good return by Jake Scott, who's had a great afternoon in that department. 23 yards. Ray Oldham ran him out of bounds. That kick 52 yards against the wind, and a very good effort by David Lee that time. The Dolphins, with the clock stopped, Scott having run it out of bounds, will start from their 35-yard line. 20 seconds showing on the board left to play in the first half. The Dolphins lead 27-0. Warfield to the near side, Briscoe far side. Dolphins first down from their 35. Hand off to Morris, sweep to the near side, turns the corner, and is he hit. He has knocked off his feet at the 39-yard line. The man who hit him was right cornerback Nelson Muncie. A gain of some 4 on the carry. 2-minute offense. Just as Greasy was up to the line of scrimmage, the gun sounds, ending the first half with the score. Miami 27, the Colts nothing. Here are the official first half statistics. First downs for Baltimore 2, the Dolphins 9. Net rushing yardage 181 for Miami, 62 for Baltimore. Net passing yardage, listen to this, just 2 yards through the air for Baltimore to 42 for the Dolphins. Total offensive yardage 223 for Miami, just 64 for the Baltimore Colts. The passing attempts, Domers 4 for 11, 1 interception, Greasy 5 for 10, no interceptions, 1 penalty in the game. That against the Colts for 5 yards. We're ready to go in the third quarter. Miami out in front 27-0. Back as the deep men will be Hubert Ginn, number 27, down the near side, and Bruce Laird, number 40, up to the far side. They'll be moving from our left to our right. The deepest penetration of this ball game by Baltimore to their own 48-yard line. Dolphins lead 27-0. Here's the whistle. Garrow with the wind to his back gets it high. Deep back in the end zone is Laird. 2 yards deep. He'll run it out to the 5, 10, the 15, and he is really smacked. Really clotheslined by Ed Newman. Newman just met him head on and flattened him out at the 17-yard line. A 19-yard return. So the Colts will start from their 17-yard line. Domers will be the quarterback, or let's check that, perhaps Burt Jones. That's who it is, Burt Jones, the rookie from LSU. They're getting nothing from Marty Domers, so Jones will start at quarterback. Hubert Ginn and Bill Olds, a rookie from Nebraska, number 38, are the running backs. Here's the handoff to Hubert over the left side, and Manny Fernandez horse collars him out at about the 19-yard line. A gain of 2 on the play. Fernandez on the tackle, a gain of 2. It'll bring up a second down and 8. Jones drops back to throw. He fires out. It is caught and dropped. Incomplete. The Colts with a third down and 8 from their 19-yard line. They split Haverlack to the near side and set as a slot man to the near side, Ollie Smith. Olds and Ginn are the split backs behind Burt Jones. He drops back to throw. Sets up. He pumps once. Now he's going to run with the ball. He breaks out of the pocket, gets out to about the 24-yard line before he is rappy-cacked. Gets out to the 25.
All right.
Mike Colin, Captain Crunch, and Manny Fernandez are the fellows who brought him down. And that is not nearly enough for a first down. And so Lee, as he did in the second quarter, will again have to kick against the wind here in the third period. Lee standing back at about the 9-yard line. Here's the snap. It's a good rush. Blocked. Rolling loose. Foley after it. He picks it up. He's got another touchdown. Bob Matheson blocked it. You could see that one coming. Boy, did they put the pressure on, and Foley just grabbed that ball. He was, I think I could see it read his mind. He was determined not to overrun the ball. He grabbed it on the bounce at the 5 and just rambled in for his second touchdown. With 13 minutes and 18 seconds left to go in the third quarter, there is a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score, Miami 34, the Colts nothing. Is the third sack of the afternoon for the Dolphins pass rush. Going into the ball game, as we mentioned earlier, they had 29. We're second in the league, only to the Redskins 37. They now have 32. So here's Lee again, and the Dolphins defense comes up with a well-deserved round of applause. The Colts haven't been able to get the ball across their own 26 or 27-yard line in this third quarter. I know this is frustrating for Lee, wondering what's going to happen this time. He's standing back at the 7. The line of scrimmage, the Colts 22. Scott is deep, Anderson shallow. And the Dolphins set to charge him again. Here's the snap. He gets it out of there. Low trajectory, gets off an excellent kick. Back at the 26 is Scott. He'll go straight ahead of the 30. 35, shakes tacklers, and is finally bounced to the turf at the 37. An 11-yard return. He grabbed the ball back at the 26-yard line. Dolphins with a third down and 3 from their 44. Greasy drops back to throw. Sets up. He is firing deep over the middle. It is caught inside the Colts 40-yard line to the 39. Marlon Briscoe comes up with another sensational grab. And the defensive man, Rex Kern, was all over him. He held on to the ball, and the Dolphins pick up a first down to the 39-yard line. The ball at the Colts 31-yard line. Third down and 3 for Miami. Midway through the third quarter, Greasy drops back to throw, sets up. He is firing deep across the middle, and Briscoe fell down at the 15. The ball is scooped off the ground. They're calling an interception for Kern. He's at the 35, fumbles the ball, and the Dolphins get it back up the Colts 36-yard line. Crusan fell on it. Briscoe down on a hook pattern at the 15, fell down, and Kern scooped the ball right up off his shoe tops. He intercepts. He comes back to about the 39. He was hit, fumbled the ball. There was some question as in the crowd's mind on the far side of the field whether he actually came up with the ball. Kern did on the interception because Briscoe had fallen down, and Kern gets the interception.
Don Nottingham made the tackle that caused that fumble. He really put a shot.
Don Nottingham makes the tackle. Crusan recovers, and the Dolphins start again from their 36-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Dolphins from the Colts 30-yard line. Howard Twilley splits to the far side. Warfield to the near side. Nottingham and Kick are the split backs behind Greasy. Greasy drops back to throw. Sets up. He is looking deep up the far side. It is knocked down by Rex Kern. It was intended for Twilley a couple of yards deep in the end zone. And the ball was juggled around by Kern. He could have had another interception, but he couldn't hold on to it. Pass was intended for Twilley. So that brings up a 4th down situation. And Garrow will come in to try a field goal. He is 2 for 3. He missed a 54-yard attempt. And this will be, let's see where they're going to sit it. Earl Neal's at the 38. Down at the west end, Garrow will have the wind behind him. Waiting for the snap. Set down. The kick is up. He has the distance. It is good. Yepremian bangs one through there from 38 yards out with 6:32 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score: Miami 37, Baltimore nothing. Colts have only 2 first downs, both of those in the first half, one by rushing, one by passing. Their deepest penetration has been their own 48. They have not been in Dolphin territory at all this afternoon. They mark the ball at the Colts 28-yard line, and it'll bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it a long 3, maybe 4. Jones will drop the throw. Here comes the rush. He fires the middle. The ball is deflected, intercepted by Dick Anderson, and he's knocked down immediately. He grabbed the ball at the 45 in Colts territory. The ball was deflected high in the air as the pass rush was hurtling in upon Jones. He threw the ball a little high, and Bill Olds, the man for whom it was intended, it bounced off his fingertips. Dick Anderson grabbed the carom, and they say that his progress was halted at the Colts 45-yard line. Earl Morrow, Old Bones, is the quarterback. They mark it at the 43 in Colts territory, so that'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 situation. And let's make it 3rd and 8. The ball at the Colts 43-yard line. Clock moving with 3:55 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins lead 37-0 in a passing situation. He will drop back to throw. He sets up. He is firing across, intercepted by Hendricks. 35, 40, 45 to the 50, and dragged down into Dolphins territory for the first time this afternoon by Don Nottingham. And that's the 2nd tackle that Nottingham has made. Morrow threw the ball right into the hands of Ted Hendricks, and there was no Dolphin around it. The pass, I assume, was intended for Mandich, but he was several yards in behind Hendricks, who was 6'7". So the Colts come up with their best field position of the day, their deepest penetration, as Hendricks runs it back to the Miami 42-yard line. Now let's see what Jones can do with it. 3:32 left to play in the 3rd quarter. The Dolphins have shut the Colts out for 16 straight quarters, working on their 17th. The ball is marked at the 34-yard line. It'll bring up a 4th down and 2. The Dolphins lead 37-0 with 1 minute and 44 seconds left to play in this 3rd quarter. Dolphin defense, a proud bunch. The no-namers working on a shutout. Jones drops the throw. He fires an out pattern. It is caught, and it's good for the 1st down. Wait a minute, they call it incomplete. Gilbert Ginn slams the ball into the ground in disgust. That'll be an interesting call because it appeared from here, of course, we have a very poor vantage point, that he did have both feet in bounds, but the official down on top of the play said no, he was out of bounds. And so the Dolphins on the pass incompletion hold and take over at their 34-yard line. And there is no time left to play. The gun sounds. That's the end of the 3rd period. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score of Miami 37, Baltimore nothing. The Dolphins have completed shutting out the Colts 17 consecutive quarters, and now working on number 18, and also working on their 4th consecutive shutout game against this Baltimore team, dating back to the AFC Championship game here in 1971. 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to go. The Dolphins leading 37-0, and the Dolphins may be going to be penalized for the first time this afternoon. We get an illegal procedure, somebody moving and the Dolphins will be penalized 5 yards. And the penalty stops the clock with 3 minutes and 32 seconds left to play. 1st and 15. Miami's football back at their 46-yard line. The Dolphins working on their first shutout of the season as far as any points. Nottingham with the football threads his way over the left side on a slant and gets about a yard out to the 47-yard line. Stan White makes the stop. 2nd down at 14 for Miami. The ball at the Dolphins' 47. Morrill dropping back to throw. Has time, firing up the near side. It is caught by Howard Twilley, his second pass reception of the season, down at the 34-yard line in Colts territory, and he is immediately run out of bounds by left quarterback Rex Kern. So Howard picks up a first down for the Dolphins. Twilley gets the pass reception. First down, Dolphins at the Colts 34. Here's the handoff. Charlie Lee off the left side, cuts outside, shakes the tackle, 30, 25 to the 20, cuts back to his right, 15, out of the 10, 5. He is scoring. He scored. He ran right over the flag, and the official on top of the play jerked those hands up in the air. The question was whether he was knocked out of bounds by Stan White and Brian Herosian at the 1-yard line. But he ran right over the flag, and the official said, no, it's a touchdown. So Charlie Lee scores his first touchdown from scrimmage as a Dolphin football player. 3 players had a shot at him, Volk, Herosian, and White, and Charlie Lee was not to be denied. 2:27 left to go as Garo Yepremian comes in to try the point from placement. Earl Morrill holds. Garo gets her up there, and it's now a 44-0 ball game as the Dolphins have equaled their highest point total of the season, 44. They got 44 in defeating New England here. Nobody likes to beat their former assistants this badly, but this Dolphins team is that much superior to the Colts this afternoon. The fans have almost completely emptied the stands here. Just a little over 60,000 through the turnstile. This is the largest no-show of the season, and the Dolphins continue way out in front of that department in the league. 80,029 on the season, and if that were a single ball game, there wouldn't be anybody show up because the capacity here is 80,010. Gun sounds, the ball game ends. The Dolphins get their first shutout against All Points on the season. The final score, Miami 44, the Colts nothing.